start off by saying, like, what a great tradition this is, the tradition of Camp T. And so I'm excited to be a part of it. To put this on takes a lot of work by a lot of people. You know, it's not one person, you know, from the people in our facilities, ops, all the way to the top, Mike Chismar and JD. And then a lot of people between our training staff, our equipment staff. We hire people from Pro-Am security and event management that put a lot of this together. You know, whether it's our portable showers, our portable restrooms, RVs, generators, water. It takes a lot of people, and we start working on this project about January, you know, prior to here, with the coordination, the dates, rental of equipment, and it's a real group effort to put this on. And we're glad that this group is helping us out because the tradition continues and the players get a lot out of it. The staff gets a lot out of it.
How many staff members are here? How many people does it take?
Well, total sleeping on camp, we have 205 people sleeping in camp. We also have another 15 of our staff that are sleeping in hotels in Payson. So, you know, about 215 people here working on a daily basis. You know, obviously we're limited to bed space here, so that's why some stay in town, but we have 200 people sleeping on site every night.
So obviously last year was the first time you did this. What's the biggest lesson you took from last year that you're able to really implement this year?
You know, prepare for the unexpected. You know, between the weather, you know, lightning storms rolling in, you have to be prepared, and for things that that could or could not happen, but you better be prepared for it on the front end. You know, luckily a lot of people have been doing this for a long time, so I was able to get coached up to help with my coordination piece of this event. But year two, we know what to expect. We have things in place to make this a successful event and give our athletes the best chance. And tell you what, they're loving the weather. You know, a little bit cooler up here. Obviously it's beautiful right now, but it cools down at night and it feels great.
What are the biggest changes you've made from last year to this year?
You know, we've just increased some of the things we bring in. Obviously, we bring in some portable showers that are really actually very nice. We've increased those numbers. We've also changed. We want to make sure we're feeding our athletes really well. So like the first night we get here, we bring in food trucks. Last year we had one food truck and it was kind of backed up, so we had 4 food trucks here Tuesday night. You know, they're big boys and they like to eat, you know, so we had to make sure we were cooking up a lot of food. And so the nutritional piece is really important because obviously you don't have the same dining facilities and kitchen facilities, so we have to do a lot of things to make sure that they're well fed and they're really happy with it.
How many meals are you cooking here on site?
So we're cooking 3 meals a day, but that doesn't exclude all the different things we do. We bring in smoothies in the afternoon from town. We bring in late night snack catering from town. We've got one whole cabin where half the cabin is filled with the snacks that we put out either pre-practice, around meeting halls. With how much calories these guys burn, we got to make sure they're not losing any weight, and there's no lacking of food up here at Camp T. But also, we got to make sure we put it away so we're not attracting any unwanted animals at night, right?
When do you start actually preparing for this, and how much all goes into it?
So, like I said, we start in January prior. We'll have a kind of a big operations meeting, and we have a pretty good to-do list and checklist from years prior. Lots of different groups hold different pieces, but I think we start with nailing down the date, reserving the date, and then reserving the equipment we're going to need on that date delivered, right? We've got groups delivering in here between water trucks and obviously we have portable restrooms, but we've got to get on the books to lock those things down at that time, that far ahead. We usually make about 3 trips up here with a group, kind of a planning advanced operations group. We're always looking at the beds. The people on site here have done a good job between last year and this year kind of upgrading some of the beds. You know, they still need a little bit of work, you know, but we're piece by piece, we're upgrading the facility, and it's been for the better for athletes.
What do you see as the next biggest thing you might do to improve, biggest upgrade, or things you think might need attention between this year and next year?
You know, obviously the cabins have been here since, I don't know how the exact date, but it's got to be the 50s, 1950s, and so they could use a little bit of work. You know, they're bunkhouses, old school bunkhouse style. The mattresses are pretty recent, but just little upgrades to maybe, you know, fire safety. That's one big thing we check, is make sure we have the fire alarms and everything are working correctly, electrical. We even have ASU campus IT come in here and install Wi-Fi. You know, our guys are still in summer school. Tomorrow's the last day of summer school. So we bring up laptops, and we have study hall in our Wi-Fi areas during the day. So there's no major piece because I think part of the lure is, we have it so good in town. Let's remember, what it's like to not have it as good. Maybe it's a little humbling experience for our athletes not to be able to look at their phones 24/7 and have to engage with each other. And that's some of my favorite part of Camp T. You should see at night in our meal hall, we bring all kinds of games. We've got cards, we've got Uno, we've got dominoes, we've got Monopoly, we've got Connect Four, and all the guys hang out in there just playing games and interacting. And that's the best part of this experience is, in this day and age of the technology, is putting your technology down and engaging with other humans.
Have you seen anything like Camp T at previous stops in your career?
At a previous stop, we tried to recreate something like this, but we could not find the facility. We wanted to go up in the mountains and find a place to get away, and we just couldn't get it done because there was no place that ASU and its donor base and its supporting base has put together. The fact that years back they came in and put in a turf field here, that's amazing. Without that, we probably could not do it in this day and age. But I've heard of some other schools doing it, but for where we're at, because of the heat we have in summer in the valley, being able to come up here, I don't know if you can match that luxury at other schools.
Brian, how many members of the football team staff, just directly related to football, are here? Are you taking care?
Yes, so we have our full roster of 120 here. We're down maybe 2 players due to injuries where it wouldn't have been safe for them to come up here. And then our entire staff is up here. I want to say our staff, just football directly, is in the 60s, but then you add 15 sports medicine people, another 10 or so equipment people, a couple of dietitians. I know I'm forgetting more. There's lots of people here that it takes to put on this type of event. We're thankful for every one of them.
How many total beds are here?
There is 205 beds on site here. Can't forget the cooks actually stay up here in the studio, so they are sleeping on site, but that's included in that 200 beds on site here.
Have you seen anything funny happen like this year with the players' reactions to something or something that happened?
There was a bat last night, and it's funny to see 6'8", 300-pound guys how scared they are of a bat. They went running pretty good, and it was entertaining. You're in nature. You see some things you're not going to see back in the city, and I thought that was a pretty fun thing.
Was it in one of the cabins?
It was in our dining hall.
Oh.
Do you have any idea of how many tons of food or how many water bottles, any of that kind of stuff? Any details like that?
We brought in about 5 pallets of either water or Powerade. Between gallon or single bottles, and not to mention the stuff we mix with hydration pieces. I don't know if you can put an exact number. That'd probably be a question for our dietitian. I know in conversation with our Sodexo, our food provider, there's so many tons of protein we have to put together. I don't have that exact number. That's probably a better question for our dietitian, but it's quite a bit. As you can imagine, we're feeding a lot of people here on site.
Yeah.